Hurricane Idalia has reached a Category 1 strength right now, with maximum winds right now of 80 miles per hour, gusts of 100 miles per hour, current central pressure of 977 millibars, moving north at 14 miles per hour as of 9 a.m. August 29th, 2023. The storm still poses a major hurricane threat to Florida at this time. We are expecting landfall to occur early Wednesday morning. And we are expecting a potentially devastating landfall to occur as well, with destructive winds, catastrophic storm surge, and devastating flooding is all on the cards. Here we are on satellite imagery right here. As you can see, the storm is presenting much better than it did yesterday, with high cloud tops reaching up toward the negative 70s and negative 80s in some spots, degrees Celsius. Cloud tops. And we don't quite have the eye feature yet, but we are probably going to see that show up, especially over the next 12 hours or so, 24 hours or so, as the storm intensifies and becomes more mature. The storm still has a lot more intensification to do, and its intensification rate has been very steady since this morning. So, moving on to some models here. We want to get a look at what we're looking at for models. Here we go. Watching Hurricane Idalia in the Gulf of Mexico. We're looking at the potential for, like we said, the storm to intensify steadily, if not rapidly, as it gets toward Florida. Only about 100 miles south of Florida by 11 p.m. tonight. And then by the time, and then landfall, current forecasted landfall should occur around 10 a.m. So little bit later morning. But we are looking at landfall right now is according to the models around 10 a.m. on Florida, possibly as a Category 3. It could even be a Category 4 by the time it gets there. It's still a lower chance, but it can happen. The storm, nevertheless, though, whether it be a Category 3 or 4, will be extremely dangerous and will by far be a life-threatening situation for Florida. After landfall, the storm continues to produce heavy rains and tropical storm-force winds into portions of Georgia, as well as thunderstorm and tornado activity. The storm will continue to rapidly weaken, but still bringing heavy rain and thunderstorms to the Carolinas. And then the storm should enter back out into the ocean. It may still be. It may still hold. It could still hold as a tropical storm for most of its track through the southeast USA, and it could emerge off of the coastline as still a tropical storm and continue its life as a tropical cyclone for that time. Of course, we don't have that much model runs on what that could do right now, other than long-range models, which we don't currently have on us right now. But short-range models definitely showing the impacts to Florida for this very dangerous hurricane. So here we go with some of the wind speeds here. We get a look at the wind field. As you can see, the tropical cyclone Hurricane Idalia will have a very intense wind field, consisting of those Category 3, if not Category 4 winds, and they will likely move on the eastern portions of the Florida Panhandle. Currently, that's what's forecasted, so just a tad bit east of Tallahassee. And the storm again will continue to produce tropical storm force winds as it moves through Georgia and the Carolinas, and then emerging off the coast. Possibly still as a tropical storm. You can see still some strong winds happening. It may come out broad at the start, but if the storm does any re-intensification, it should become less broad at that time. So let's get a look at simulated IR just to see what the storm structure could look like as the storm moves north. So as I said here, definitely going to have significant maturity occurring. The NAM3K is the model we're using here, and the NAM3K doesn't really show currently that the storm is going to have that much of a very good eye, which I would be surprised if it doesn't really get an eye. It's really hard to say if the storm will get an eye or not, and how good that eye will be. But currently, right now, according to this model, it thinks that the storm will try to produce an eye. As you can see, the dip and the deep swirl going on in the middle of that cyclone there, that is literally trying to produce an eye. And whether or not for certain it produces an eye, these models can never say for certain, especially when it comes to structure. Structure is not something easily determined by models. So we may see an eye, we may not. And then the storm, will, like we said, will continue to produce tropical storm force winds and heavy rain and thunderstorms across portions of Georgia and the Carolinas. Rapidly losing shape on the shape here as the storm goes through the Carolinas, especially. We'll see if this intensifies further after leaving the coast or not. But right now, looking at this, looking like it's going to be pretty badly shaped as it emerges off the coast. Of course, it just went through four states of land, so it makes sense that the storm would obviously have some structural issues after landfall. Now, we're going to get a look at the sea surface temperatures right now. Here we go. Alright, right now, currently the storm is under sea surface temperatures of 30 to 31 degrees Celsius at this time. Unfortunately, the storm is headed toward even warmer water temperatures as by later tonight or close or around midnight, the storm should cross into 31 to 32 degrees Celsius water temperatures at that time. And that will really give the storm a final strong leg in intensification here, and that intensification rate could spike in those last few hours before landfall. So we're really watching this very closely to see what happens, and we hope for the best. But Florida, prepare for the worst. Wind shear right now is 10 to 15 knots, so generally on the favorable side. So the wind shear won't really be that much of an issue for Idalia. It may marginally inhibit its strengthening rate, but not by very much. We still expect this storm to have a steady, if not rapid, intensification before landfall, getting to Category 3, again, if not Category 4. That is it for today. We'll be back. Oh, probably not for today, but that is it for this morning. We'll probably be back with a couple more later today.